It is a picture-perfect Sunday in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Welcome to Goodman Stadium, home of the Bethlehem Steel. Today they host the New York Red Bulls too. And we are thrilled to have you with us. I'm Drew Felios, joined by Jordan Angeli, the former star at Santa Clara, also professional star as well. Jordan, this should be really fun. Two teams back-to-back in the standings.
Not only that, but they just met 3 weeks ago, so they remember that game vividly for New York Red Bulls too. It didn't go quite like they had planned, losing 2-0 to the Bethlehem Steel, and I think the Steel have to tweak what they did in that game in order to continue to succeed against New York Red Bulls too. New
York has searched for balance all year long. They've certainly gotten it from number 88, Vincent Bezecourt.
Bezecourt is so fun to watch because he's a catalyst to the offense for the Red Bulls too. He finds a way to sit in that pocket in front of the back line, behind the midfielders, and he just makes things happen. 5 goals, 7 assists on the season. But he hasn't scored since the first 6 games of the season. So if Red Bulls too want to continue to get some goals on the board, he needs to be a little bit more productive in the 18.
And for Bethlehem, the Steel have not lost in their last 6 matches. One of the main reasons, their goalkeeper, Jake McGuire.
McGuire has been great. We talked to Brendan Burke, coach of the Steel, this week, and he said, I love Jake. And what's not to love? 4 shutouts on the season. He has a .91 goals against average. Just a big presence in the goal, is growing in his leadership. And his last shutout was against this Red Bulls 2 squad. So I think that sticks in his mind, something that McGuire wants to repeat here tonight.
Our starting lineups today brought to you by Lehigh Valley Health Network. For New York, you can't help but notice Brandon Allen, number 21 on the right side.
Brandon Allen moves from that number 9 position up top to the right side winger, and it'll be interesting to see if they use him on the width or if they play more through Derek Etienne on the left side and use Brandon Allen to get in the box and use his presence in there.
Also keep an eye on Lauro, the goalkeeper, 35 saves this year, rather, in the net. And for Bethlehem, a little bit shorthanded today. Still tons of talent on the field. Where do you think the biggest threats are going to come from?
Well, Adam Najim last game against New York Red Bulls too, he had a goal and an assist. So he is looking to be productive again. But I think Austin Trusty and Ken Tribbett, the 2 center backs for this team, they're going to have their hands full with the front 4 of this Red Bulls 2 squad. They're going to have to communicate well and stay unified in the back line.
Bethlehem playing their best soccer of the season. New York trying to even up the series in 2017. Kickoff from Bethlehem is coming up next.
The first soccer ball was kicked in Bethlehem in 1904. Now, 112 years later, it's time for the rebirth of Bethlehem Steel FC. Herbers in the box, and there's the first goal in Steel FC history. For tickets, visit BethlehemSteelFC.com or call 844-STEEL-FC.
What's easy to find, lots of fun, and has something for everyone? The Phillipsburg Mall, right off of Route 22 in Phillipsburg, New Jersey. Finding new clothes for the whole family made easy. All of your favorite trends are in and here. Get all of the latest styles, accessories, and more. Stop in and enjoy the experience. The retro novelty is here, open for all to enjoy. Get a fresh new look at one of our many salons, then take your pick at our selection of delicious eateries. Phillipsburg Mall, just off of Route 22 in Phillipsburg, New Jersey. Come today. Rothrock is where the cars are.
Rothrock's pre-owned outlet has been serving the Lehigh Valley for over 55 years. Our world-class facility offers premium vehicles, including hundreds of factory-certified pre-owned, next to new cars and trucks, factory-backed and warranted for 100,000 miles. A 125-point certified inspection assures security and peace of mind, and Rothrock pre-owned always means big savings, with vehicles starting at only $2,900. Over 300 vehicles in stock and ready to roll.
Rothrock, where the cars are.
You've lived with it for too long. That recurring joint or muscle pain that makes everyday tasks a strain and repetitive movement almost impossible. Why put it off? The sooner you seek treatment, the more options you'll have. The faster you'll be back in full stride. The latest non-surgical solutions. The region's only nationally ranked program. That's Orthopedics in Action at Lehigh Valley Health Network.
Set for the start on a gorgeous day in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. The Steel and Red Bulls 2 coming at you in USL action. Alongside Jordan Angeli, I am Drew Felios. Should be a fabulous 90 minutes of soccer. Bethlehem will come in a bit short-handed here this afternoon. Sekou Kane was a game-time decision with a right MCL sprain. They decide to sit him out. Also, Corey Burke and Hugh Roberts, they were red carded in the last contest, so they will be out as well.
And Corey Burke also in international duty with the Jamaican national team as they participate in the Gold Cup. But Corey Burke is someone that is kind of a hard presence to replace. Coach Burke was talking about how he just has this ability to get in the game in a different way. But Sekou Kane, that's hard for the Steel. He is their leading goal scorer, such a presence up top. So it'll be a good opportunity for Nanko to come in and try to make his presence known.
Kone with the 7 goals this year, so Bethlehem will have to do without a big part of their offense. As John Wallenick, the 2016 Coach of the Year in the USL, leads New York here this afternoon. Still one of the dynamic minds in the league. And on the other side, Brendan Burke in his second season. Jordan, we were so impressed with him earlier this week, the organization and his approach to managing this team week in and week out.
And just that picture you see has an armband on with an American flag as its salute to the Heroes Night. You know, that's the kind of leader he is. I feel like his presence as a player turned coach has really been big for this Steel squad.
Underway from Bethlehem. Our officials, Gustavo Solorio, Melvin Holmes, Brian DePaulo, and Bernard Shumbusho. New York has struggled on the road this season. This is the 7th road contest. So far, 1, 2, and 3 when they are away from home. First 4 matches did not get a win. So this would be huge if they could get one today in Bethlehem.
And they're facing a Bethlehem team who has been undefeated in the last 6. So this is a big challenge for Red Bulls too.
Ball past the touchline. Bethlehem playing their best soccer of the season. 6 matches without a loss, 4 wins and 2 draws in that run. Is Matthew Real with it right now. One of the biggest reasons why. Number 47 has been fabulous, only 17 years old, as he loses it that time, and New York a little bit on their heels defensively. Bethlehem, their last match, a 1-1 draw to Richmond back on July 1st. When you look at Real, though, 47, bottom of your screen, hard to believe he is only 17, the way he maneuvers himself around the field. Tried the cross that time, a little bit too high.
He plays with such confidence for a 17-year-old. He's experienced with the U18 national team, participated just in a camp with them recently, and he brings that positive confidence to the field. He's not afraid to get up into the attack and make things happen, as we just saw there in the first couple minutes.
Nice slide, Anthony Fontana with the good touch. And this is Amoy Brown on the far side, able to squirt a pass through. And Bethlehem working quickly here in the opening minutes. This is Fontana, just outside the 18, got caught up. David Najem for New York. There's a couple Najems on the field here today. David for New York and Adam for Bethlehem.
A little brother rivalry happening, both starting with New York Red Bulls Academy. This year, Adam Najem's signing with Bethlehem and in the Philadelphia Union organization. So it's fun to watch a little brother battle on the field. Adam getting the best of the game last week, or 2 weeks ago, as he had a goal and an assist.
Real will toss it in for Bethlehem. Bethlehem with 27 points on the season. New York just behind with 25. Aaron Basuljevic, number 17, one to watch for the Red Bulls. Evan Loro in the net. homegrown signing for New York. Brought on back in January, and he has answered the call. 35 saves so far in his young Red Bulls 2 career. Now Bethlehem going to work. This is Santi Moore. Moore will take the shot, and the first blast of the game goes just a bit high.
Moore did a good job of attacking the back line there, but I would have preferred this run by Real to go on the outside. Can he create a little bit more of a gap there that then Moore can continue his dribble towards the back line, maybe beat one more defender and have an easier shot on goal. But in the first 4 minutes of this game, really promising attack from Bethlehem Steel, which is what we talked to Coach Burke about. He wanted them to be more decisive and a little bit more aggressive in the attacking third, and I think so far they're doing just that.
Well, Jordan, New York, biggest part of their struggles has been defensively. They've conceded 30 goals. That's the third most in the league, and you can tell Bethlehem going right after them here early.
And it's a good that's exactly what you should be doing. You're riding this wave of confidence that you've gained in being unbeaten in 6 games. So can you attack them early, try to get in behind as much as possible and find the little ways to break down the back line of the Red Bulls?
Anthony Fontana for Bethlehem getting involved, and now New York will try and possess. 5th minute just underway from Bethlehem. Ethan Cutler, former Colgate star, fresh off being named the Patriot League Tournament MVP last fall. He wears number 92. This ball gets loose as the goalie comes up. Loro got to it just in time. Otherwise, would have been big trouble.
Yeah, Nanko did a good job of pressing that. It comes from a clearance from Trivet in the back line, just clearing the pressure. And Nanko, if he cuts across the goalie there, maybe he even takes a weird deflection and goes in his favor. But the pressure in and of itself makes Loro have to think twice about that clearance.
Here's Matthew Real, the player that Coach Burke said has been the biggest surprise of this team thus far this year. Quickly the other way, Lewis with 2 goals of his own for New York. This is Cutler. Best possession so far of the game for New York until Cutler, the bad pass got away. Santi Moore collected. And this one will belong to the Red Bulls.
One of the big keys in attack for Steel is going to be if they win the ball in possession like that, can they switch the point of attack as quickly as possible? Because Red Bulls 2 tend to just swarm the ball right after they lose it. They put a lot of numbers on the side that the ball is when they're defending. So can they get one pass through the midfield, maybe find Chambers or Fontana and switch the point of attack?
Red Bulls coming back the other way, and it'll be the first touch for Jake McGuire here this afternoon. 4 shutouts on the year, 41 saves to his credit. Kept alive by Bezecourt. Bezecourt gets one away, and it puts McGuire on the move. He was able to get a hand on it just before it was headed towards the post.
And that's that little pocket of space I told you that Bezecourt likes to occupy. It's right in front of the back line, right behind the center midfielders. He takes a good touch off his chest, and there you could see the ball looked as if it maybe was going wide, but if you're McGuire, you have to make that save, and he comes up big and just allows for a corner kick.
First corner kick of the match. Nice tempo established by New York. Bezecourt will do the honors. Defense set for the steal. This ball a little bit low, and the flick up goes just over the crossbar.
It's just a missed opportunity there. Poor clearance, or poor ball into the box. That didn't allow anybody on Red Bulls 2 to get on the end of it. Not typical of Bezecourt.
So here comes New York. Bezecourt very active here in the first 10 minutes. Daniel Metzger, former Maryland star. And Bethlehem able to take this one away. Senti Moore now gets it ahead, and it's a foot race. Nako ahead of everybody. Can he get the angle? Slows things up, and now a battle for positioning just outside the 18.
Two opposites players there, and Schmoll with his height and Nanko with the speed. Schmoll did a good job of just staying pace for pace with him. I think that was a good denial of the early shot, allowing them to just battle in the corner. Nanko just waiting for his players to come help him. There was no next player, and I think he did a good job there for what he had.
Chris Nanko, a guy that Coach Burke believes is on the verge of a breakout, has had several moments so far this season. Now a nice looking attack for New York. The cross is in, and McGuire right in position once again.
Here you can see these two. Nanko trying to get low, make it hard for Schmoll to get the ball. He does a really good job of defending. That's what you work on a lot as a youth player, just shielding the ball. Nanko showing off his ability to use his strength.
Schmoll had about, what, 7 inches on him in that battle? And Schmoll, one of the tallest players in the back that you're going to find in the USL. Aaron Jones tosses it in. Jones, first round pick back in the start of this year. Got his first professional goal last time out for Bethlehem. Lauro will send it out for the visitors. The player a little bit slow getting up at midfield. It's Lewis. Gets up quickly, but he is right now favoring the back of his neck as things start to get a little physical.
And Chambers having a little chat with the referee. Two big plays there. Lewis had gone up in a header with Real, and Real showing also his ability to his jump vertically. He went up and over Lewis, grabbing his head there afterwards. Not something you like to see.
Now New York right back to work. Here's Lewis, one-on-one, trying to create some space. Good passing by Red Bulls 2, but a little caught up in traffic that time. New York trying to keep the play alive, can't do it. And once again, here's Nanko. They are testing his speed here in the opening minutes. Contact, no whistle as Schmoll looked like he threw him down.
And once again, that all started with Ken Tribbett. He does a good job playing a little outside of the football into the oncoming Chris Nanko. But to me, that's a lot of contact there. It's hard because if you call that, that's a red card, right? You're the last offender. So I get the no call, but man, each time that Nanko gets going, it's like Schmoll's all over him.
Here's Ethan Cutler. New York possessing once again. They've done a good job of that so far. Metzger, another touch. Now they'll test the right side. Lewis trying to get a cross in as this ball is going to be out of bounds and a goal kick coming up. But here's Nanko once again with Schmoll. We've seen this twice so far.
And that's a better view of it for all of us to see. They both were kind of grabbing, and Nanko trying to establish that front position, but Schmoll does a good job of just continuing to run and not going for the body. There's contact, but I I take my words back. I don't think it was as much as I thought initially.
Let me ask you this, Jordan. If you're a coach of a team, what attributes do you value more, size or speed?
Whew. Speed kills, man. If you have the pace to get in behind the back line like Nanko does, I think that's hard to replace with anything else. So even though I don't want to, I'm going to say speed.
And you had both, of course, as a player, right?
Oh, I wish. Not the speed.
Furious action so far here in the 14th minute. Good atmosphere here in Bethlehem. Always love it when the drums are consistently going, just kind of adds a different flavor to a game, doesn't it?
It really does. I think that adds an energy too, especially for a home team. If you have a little tempo that you like to play with, it can almost add to that and get you going, especially the pace that they're playing at right now is pretty high paced, and I feel like that's kind of reflective of the way that the game has been so far.
Passing pretty crisp by New York. As this one goes out of bounds, it'll be a goal kick. Coming up is the fans are very much into this contest so far. Fans, stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts, Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern on SiriusXM Channel 85. Also, don't forget, SiriusXM will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check uslsoccer.com for dates and times. Those fans that we saw in the stands from New York, so New York with a nice contingency here in Bethlehem today.
Just adding to the rivalry. Traveling some fans, making sure their team feels supported.
Bethlehem creating an opportunity here. Nanko will take the shot, hit the crossbar, and it comes back out. Steele trying to keep this play alive. Fontana, and this one is reeled in by Evan Laurel.
And that was a poor giveaway by Nadam in the back line. It seemed like an easy way to get out. Nadam plays it right to the Bethlehem Steel player in the midfield, and that's not what you want is Nanko at that close to your goal in behind. And he just nailed that off the crossbar. That 9 times out of 10, that probably bounces the other way and goes into the goal.
Another ball gets loose. Bethlehem can't take advantage this time. New York having kind of a hard time transitioning early on in this contest.
And that's something that the Steel are trying to expose from this Red Bulls team. They like to send numbers high on the field and win the ball back high. So if you can beat that first line of pressure, then there's space to play the ball in behind or try to create a counterattack.
Derek Etienne tried to squeeze one inside. Senti Moore winds up with it for Bethlehem. Again, it's Nanko trying to beat the defense. He has got time and space and numbers. The nice 1-2. Nanko squirting free, and it's the first goal of the match for Bethlehem.
Nanko already has been so dangerous. We told you that this was going to be an opportunity for him to shine, and shine he has. We just talked about how the Steel are trying to counter and release pressure really quickly. Here's just a really good ball by Najim. He finds Nanko in behind. He's supporting him. So even though that long ball came first, that Nanko got on, he had someone to help him and create a 2v2. The ball by Najim was perfect. The finish was perfect. And that feels good if you're Nanko coming in and starting and replacing Kone, who's had a good presence already in this season.
Najim and Nanko work to perfection. And for Chris Nanko, his second goal of the season. Coach Burke said, watch out for Chris Nanko, and he has already made a huge impact.
And the counterattack is so on. As the ball went into Nanko, it was a 1v2 situation. There was only 2 defenders back from that pressure that Red Bulls 2 were putting on the Steel high up the field. So with the speed of Nanko, and when you have a supporting player like Najim who can get in and help you with that second run, good things can happen like that. And I think the Steel are playing out their game plan pretty well right now.
So an early goal for Bethlehem gets their crowd into it. on a perfect Sunday for soccer. And let's see how New York responds on the road. Bethlehem continuing to play tough as Nenko nearly got free once again.
It's a great run by Herbers, just powering through the midfield, beating a couple defenders, trying to slip a little through ball into Nenko. Herbers is a player who is done a good job on the outside of that, in that winger spot this year.
You know, Chris Nenko, Coach Burke said that usually this time of year, former college players, Nenko went to Syracuse, of course, they wear down this time of year, but this guy's just getting better.
Yeah, he's hoping for this to be the breakout game of his first season, and he started well. You can see that whole run. He is ready every time they're defending to pop through.
Cross comes in this time, but McGuire gets on the ground and cuts it off quickly.
If you're McGuire, you feel like, thank goodness, because sliding in is Brandon Allen, and Brandon Allen has a knack for scoring goals like that. He loves to get across the front post, get little flicks on, and keep the ball alive, one, or two, put it in the back of the net. So good play by McGuire.
You surprised how many chances Lewis is getting on that right side for New York?
I think that they're just doing a good job. New York, when they are trying to attack, Lewis is coming in a little bit centrally and not creating such a matchup with the outside back. So he's found a little pocket of space in between the outside back and the center midfielders.
Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com.
Well, the USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and info by visiting USLsoccer.com, and then follow them on Twitter at USL. You know who one of the most active people on Twitter is?
Who?
You.
Me?
Jordan.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I try.
You are a rock star on Twitter.
Hopefully it's good things.
Well, it's been such a fun season so far with this great league. I know, Jordan, you've had a few opportunities to work, and I know you continue to be impressed by all the great players in this league, the great competition, and all the great television coverage that has been provided this year.
I have. I think the league is growing so much. It's showing how much the game and the sport has been growing in the United States within the last 15, 20 years. And the quality on the field is fun. It's fun to watch. There is competition. There are so many players floating in between this league and other leagues and just really making a name for themselves. And USL has been so fun to cover, and I feel really honored to be able to cover it.
Now, you've also had several opportunities in the NWSL this season. What has stood out to you on that side?
NWSL has been fun because it's a league I used to play in, so to stay in and be able to watch it grow has been a really wonderful experience. It's just cool to see how the parity in that league. There's so much talent, and teams that were last year, like Sky Blue FC in New Jersey, they're one of the best teams and the hardest to play against right now.
Yep. So New York attacking now from the left side. Bethlehem defense, they're in position. And let's see, will we get a corner kick? Well, right now, as we continue to count matches, right now this is the 240th USL game of the season. We are officially halfway through. And the attendance for the league this year officially went over 1 million just last night. The attendance has just been unbelievable in 2017.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's worth it. These are great games.
Corner kick on the way. Another opportunity for naught for New York.
And you can see, talking about attendance, the fans chirping a little bit there as the ball skyrockets over the goal.
Well, soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, go to NikeSoccer.com. NikeSoccer.com, an official sponsor of the USL. 1-0 Bethlehem. An early goal by Krisnenko. David Najem works for New York. Daniel Metzger. And now everybody gets a touch. New York, the defending champions in USL play. Such a fabulous run a season ago, but you know what's even tougher than winning a title is staying on top and trying to win another one. It is so difficult when everybody's gunning for you.
Yeah, and just the quality in the league right now. Charlotte coming on lately, just having this huge run, a team that maybe people didn't think were going to be there, and as of recently have been doing really well. I think that just speaks to what we were talking about earlier, is how the talent and even the coaching in this league just continues to get better and better as the players and the coaches develop. It's hard. It's hard to win any of these leagues, especially USL.
Well, that is a great point, though. If you're trying to defend a title, when the league competition across the board so much tougher than it was a season ago. Charleston in first place in the East. Real leading in the West. New York right now stands in 7th place in the Eastern Conference standings. This win today, if they were to somehow get it on Bethlehem soil, would be huge. Vasiljevic gets a touch. That's a nice pass and threading the needle. Bezecourt shaking free, and a great save by McGuire.
We talked about Trusty and Tribbett in the open, that those two need to have a good game, and they're Trusty getting played a little bit by Bezecourt, and then Tribbett slipping. Fortunately for both of them, Bezecourt doesn't get a good shot on the ball. He tries to bend it, but not enough pace on it makes it pretty easy for McGuire. But that is a dangerous spot for you to allow Bezecourt to have so much space.
As a former soccer player, Jordan, is that the most nerve-wracking millisecond when you've shaken free and you know it's just you and the goalie?
No, that's the best part. I thought you were going to say if as a defender. That's the worst part, when you slip in the box and you see the player with the ball at their feet shooting at your goal. But that's the best part, to be one-on-one with a goalkeeper. Ooh, I'll take that any time. And here's Bezecourt. Whoop, a little meg there. There's a slip by Tribbett, and he tries to bend it. It looked like McGuire really read that. He knew he was going to go far post, kind of leaving open that near post.
Steele attacking now the other way. Good pass by Nanko. Nanko looking for the 1-2 again. This time, though, cut off by Hassan Nadam. First time we've called his name, the 18-year-old superstar out of Cameroon. And a foul is going to be called as it gets a little physical at midfield.
And as the Steele attack, you can tell they're feeling confident. That combination between Nanko and Najem there at the top of the box, a little back heel. That's what you start to get when a team is winning, right? And you score a goal early. You see these little characteristics of players that they get to show off a little bit. And that was fun to watch. It didn't pay off. Nadam doing a good job of defending, but that's the skill you get in this league.
Now New York with Cutler. Really working that right side. Lewis the service. Nobody home that time. Bethlehem now on the counter. Santee Moore scored against the Red Bulls 2 last time these two teams played, back on June 16th. Best performance registered, though, by Adam Najem, who used to play in New York. He had a goal and an assist the last time. The crowd unhappy there, wanted a call, and now New York comes back the other way. And we're going to get one more whistle, and that's going to get people unsettled because you don't get a call on one end, and then Bethlehem whistled with the gem on the other.
Yeah, it was not the best tackle by Najem, but at the same time, the call before should have been called. The foul before should have been called. So here Najem just sticks his leg out. I think Cutler also does a good job of just continuing to run through it and earn the foul. But for the Red Bulls, that's what they're trying to do right now, right? Establish any kind of presence, momentum, because they haven't really had too many quality opportunities yet.
They certainly haven't. Bethlehem coming right back. They have been so dynamic up front so far. Just kind of hold your breath on each possession. Here's the cross, comes in. Waiting for it was Moore, but it was cut off just in time. Red Bull fans have made the trek over to Bethlehem.
Let's get their tan on, too.
It's that type of day. Not many clouds in the sky here in Pennsylvania. Aaron Jones to toss it in. He was outstanding in the last match against Richmond. Had his first professional goal, and it was the equalizer to get Bethlehem the draw. This ball serviced in, and the Steel now will track it down. Santi Moore one-on-one. Moore gets by one defender. Clear path, the cross, and the goal! That's Fabian Herbers going top shelf, and it's 2-0.
The play by Santi Moore there was phenomenal. He was so patient in his 1v1 attack. He allowed the defender to dive in and then pushed it past him so easily. There's the push pass. And then instead of going to goal, which a lot of players do, he picks out a pass. It's clear on the ground, a good pace. It's easy for Herbers to put it in the back of the net, and that's just what he does. That is an awesome goal by the Steel.
Bethlehem very impressive here in the first 30 minutes. Playing very relaxed, very confident, and the dynamic combination. Herbers finishes it off, and it's a 2-goal lead. Yellow card, first of the match, is going to be issued here, and it goes to Herbers, who just scored the goal.
Sometimes that happens. You're just so psyched up from scoring a goal. You have all this energy. You just go into a sloppy tackle in there. Herbers, you knew right away. He came in kind of from the side, almost from behind. It just wasn't good enough. It got too much of the player, and Herbers gets a goal and a yellow card within a minute.
Herbers, former Boston College star, starring in the midfield here today. You don't see that too often, where you get a yellow card less than a minute after you score a goal. Sam Nadam had a shot at that one, but it goes out of bounds right next to the goal, and Jake McGuire will set it in the grass for Bethlehem.
And that's something, if I'm Jake McGuire, I'm talking to my back line, to everyone who is in the presence of that free kick there, because there's two runners for Red Bulls too who are running free within the box. You kind of sometimes have this letdown after you score a goal. The focus has to be even sharper once you score a goal, because you know that team's going to come back with some fire and try to get one back quickly.
Battle now at midfield, beat New York. Ball will throw it in. So goals by Nanko and Herbers. And Bethlehem showing why they have not lost in their last 6 matches. This streak right now is the longest in club history. There's a lot of streaks and records being set when you've only been in existence a couple years, but still, Jordan, If you can get this one today, go 7 matches without a loss, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's good in whatever, you know, however your team has been, however long that you have been there, or whatever league you play in, as we see a pretty tough tackle there on Chambers.
And it's going to draw a yellow, and Etienne cannot believe it. So yellow in the 34th. James Chambers, the guy who went down, one of the glue players on this Steel roster.
You talk about the Steel getting all of these records, but for Red Bulls too, they are continuing to give up a lot of goals. That's their 32nd goal this year they've already given up. They've got to figure out a way to work better as a back line and drop a little sooner. They know right now that the way the Steel are playing, they're trying to counter quickly. You have to read that. They have pace in the back. You have to drop a little bit sooner and keep Nanko in front of you.
Well, it's one thing when the alignment is not right, you don't have enough players back. But Jordan, when you're losing one-on-one battles like they did on that last goal, that's when things can really start to come apart defensively.
Yeah, it's difficult. You know, the attacking there was stellar. I would say, you know, good attacking is going to beat good defending any day. But it's true. How are the Red Bulls too going to figure out a way to kind of unite here and defend as more of a unit and not allow so many 1v1 battles?
Chambers now tracks it down, switches to the opposite side of the field, and Bethlehem trying to go back to work. Herbers lost it in traffic though. And some holding, and that's going to draw a whistle. So New York defeating St. Louis their last time out. That was back on July 1st in a 1-0 contest. Struggling to score goals over the last month. They need one here. Tremendous pass gets in. Player goes down. No whistle, we play on. New York with the goalie out. Couldn't capitalize on the opportunity.
That was a scramble inside the box. New York doing a good job of sending a lot of numbers forward, but this is a misplay.
Nanko coming up, and look how far Evan Lauro comes up to play it.
It's a great play by Laurel.
And now Bethlehem attacks wide from the left side. This is Moore. Remember what he did a couple sequences ago. Nice cross, and the blast is just a bit wide.
That's that same battle. Ethan Cutler against Santi Moore, and such good patience. He picks out another pass. Here's to Anthony Fontana, and Fontana, an academy kid who has done so well. One of 4 academies to start, players from the Steel to start in these USL games, and you can see why. He gets in good spots. He fights. He has a tenacity about him that's perfect for this Steel midfield. There, not the shot he would have liked, as that kind of was setting up for a good first professional goal.
Yeah, Anthony Fontana just thrilled at the opportunity that he is getting so early in his career. It's one thing about this organization, Bethlehem and Philadelphia, they take so much pride in what they do. Coach Burke says it's like a well-oiled machine right now. We understand that with consistency, it's not always going to be there, but we are going to have spurts. And right now, we're in the middle of a spurt as Nanko tries to track this one down on the far side. Well, the USL is one of the most prominent second division pro leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and info by going to uslsoccer.com, and also follow on Twitter at USL. And I don't think there's any team, organization in the USL that sends players up and down the way Bethlehem does.
And I think speaks a lot to what they're doing. They're trying to create youth players that can play at the highest level. So what better to do that than to get them these game experiences at such a young age. There's Real and Fontana. These are kids who they see as being the face of their pro team, their highest pro team, in years to come. So it's cool to see the structure that the Union and Steel have all created.
Bethlehem now with Najem. Najem had an assist on the last goal for the Steel. Trying to mount an attack from the middle. New York there to cut this one off. And looked like more contact. Whistle's a little bit slow here today.
Well, I was just a little, I felt that one because it was Herbers who just got the yellow card going into a tackle late. You have to be cautious that you're not doing those kind of tackles when you're already on a yellow card. Your team has the momentum right now. The last thing you want to do as a player is to deflate that momentum, and Herbers has to be careful with his tackles.
'40th minute, and still a 2-0 contest. I'll tell you what, Derek Etienne has been involved in just about every little skirmish that has happened in this game so far.
Well, it's funny because I was just talking about Herbers careful with his tackles, and Etienne has to be too because he has a yellow card as well. So when it goes either way, your team has momentum, or if they don't, the last thing you want to do, losing 2-0, is to get a second yellow. So Etienne has the ability to affect the game right now. I think a little frustrated with the lack of getting the ball as much as he would want to.
Nice pass there. Matthew Real lost it as he approached the 18. New York will try and possess here as the first half winds down from Bethlehem. Goal by Nanko and a goal by Herbers. The difference right now as the Steel lead by 2. This is a long shot and very close to the goal. Kept Evan Lauro very honest.
Jones clearly feeling confident after his goal last week, which was brilliant. But I'm not quite sure what he was doing there. It looked like it maybe hit off the wrong side of his foot. He was trying to cross, get it into the mix, and just sky high over the crossbar.
What was your range in taking a shot, Jordan? How far out were you comfortable letting the blast go away?
Oh, it just depended. I scored one from about 40 yards out off a free kick once, which was pretty fun.
Wow.
One of those where you even surprise yourself sometimes.
You remember what game or
Oh,
what
yeah.
year? A long time ago?
Well, it was in college against Notre Dame.
Oh, wow. Always remember those special moments. Don't just as
Yep.
long as you played, still those magical moments that you always love to relive.
Absolutely.
Santi Moore for Bethlehem. Very effective here in the first half. Etienne, though, comes away with it for New York. I think it would be critical for New York to get some sort of good opportunity or attack, something to give them some confidence here before intermission.
Yeah, and I like that New York is staying true to who they are. They're super patient with their build-up. They're creating passes, trying to shift the back line of Bethlehem. But they just can't figure out the attacking third once they get near the 18. The passes have to be that much sharper, and right now it's lacking there.
Couple touches that time by Brandon Allen. He has been a little bit silent here in the first half. Lewis lets it go as Allen went down, and now talking with our official. Well, soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, go to NikeSoccer.com. Nike Soccer, an official sponsor of the USL. It's one thing to watch when you have your top goal scorer, Brandon Allen, sort of non-existent here in the first half. If you're New York, that's definitely an issue.
I think the center backs have done a good job of denying him the pass. Not only them, but the two holding midfielders are not allowing that outlet pass, the lane, to be clear into Allen. But Allen is getting the ball deeper than he likes to get it.
Etienne goes back the other way. Tremendous pass, and how about another one-handed glove on it by McGuire. He is red hot in net for Bethlehem.
And that's what can happen with Bezecourt, is he can float into these spots as the buildup starts to happen and kind of go unnoticed. And there he gets in this little pocket right outside the center backs in a beautiful strike. Unfortunately, goes straight to the hands of McGuire.
Nothing doing on the corner kick for New York. Jake McGuire has been tested a few times in this first half, and he's come up big every time. 1 minute of stoppage time is going to be coming up after the 45-minute mark.
But you can see the Red Bulls starting to create a little bit of momentum here late in the game. And here's that pocket. Bezecourt likes to make through runs out of the midfield, testing the back line, and there is a really good layoff by Etienne. The pace on it, it was in front of him so that Bezecourt could hit it one time. But how about that save by McGuire? Just reaction, hands above the head, get anything on it.
That is twice that McGuire has denied Bezecourt when Bezecourt has had really, really good looks. Now it's Lewis, Ezekiel Lewis, and unable to shake free. Had a man down there, but Bezecourt could not get to it, and McGuire does first.
Trusty played that so well for the steal. He saw that Bezecourt was making that slashing run, trying to break the back line, and he does a good job of just beating Bezecourt to the spot, not allowing him to get in behind him. And if you're the Red Bulls, that's the kind of defending you need to think about for the second half, just denying those balls in behind, keeping the steal in front of you.
Into stoppage time now. Hassan Nadam. And also Ethan Cutler for New York. Bethlehem looking for one more run before intermission. Herbers effective in this first half. So is Chris Nanko. Nanko surrounded by 3 white jerseys as the ball goes out of bounds, and Bethlehem will toss it in, and that should just about do it. So the first half in the books. Bethlehem gets an early goal by Chris Nanko, the former Syracuse standout. Fabian Herbers adds another, and it's 2-0 as we go to intermission. The Steel and the Red Bulls too. Nanko with the early fireworks in Bethlehem. Halftime festivities are coming up.
What's sweeter than playing Mother's Day with top prizes of $50,000? How about winning on the spot? Play Mother's Day, the new scratch-off from the Pennsylvania Lottery, and you could win on the spot. Keep on scratching.
Rothrock is where the cars are.
Rothrock's pre-owned outlet has been serving the Lehigh Valley for over 55 years. Our world-class facility offers premium vehicles, including hundreds of factory-certified pre-owned, next to new cars and trucks, factory-backed and warranted for 100,000 miles. A 125-point certified inspection assures security and peace of mind, and Rothrock pre-owned always means big savings, with vehicles starting at only $2,900. Over 300 vehicles in stock and ready to roll.
Rothrock, where the cars are.
Herbers in search. Oberg put it home, and the Union lead.
It can happen over time or in a snap. If joint or muscle pain has taken you out of the game, we can identify the root cause of your problem and develop a sport-specific treatment plan to get you moving again. Over 400 medical experts strong, the region's only nationally ranked program. That's Orthopedics in Action at Lehigh Valley Health Network.
What's more exhilarating than playing $100,000 Club with top prizes of $100,000? Winning on the spot. Yeah! Play $100,000 Club, the new scratch-off from the Pennsylvania Lottery, and you could win on the spot. Keep on scratching.
Just a picture-perfect Chamber of Commerce day here in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. The Steel taking advantage of it so far, 2-0, your score at intermission. Alongside Jordan Angeli, I'm Drew Felios, and we have seen Bethlehem's best soccer up to this point. Let's take a look at the numbers at the half. Of course, the 2 goals, but when you really size things up, New York not doing a bad job in the stats column. What is missing, Jordan?
I think it's that final third for the Red Bulls, too. They're not as sharp in the final third. They can't find the ball into Allen. They can't figure out how to slip Bezecourt in the right ways. But Bezecourt's creating something for himself. He had 2 wide open opportunities that he has the ability to put away. So if you're Red Bulls too, I think you stay patient in the way you're attacking. You just have to defend a little better. The Steel are executing their game plan to a T. They're doing a good job of winning the ball, getting in behind, and executing. Two goals on 6 shots. That's the kind of shooting percentage you want to have. Yeah, Jake McGuire, the goalie, has been fabulous too for Bethlehem. Got some big contests coming up in the USL. How about the rivalry between Orlando and Tampa Bay? That continues to boil. San Antonio, a fabulous franchise that is with OKC. San Antonio and OKC, that game is an ESPNU game, the second one that we're going to see this summer. Ottawa and Rochester, and of course Red Bulls too, take on the Charlotte Independents. How about Charlotte, the way they're playing right now? They're on fire right now, and that's not what you like to see if you're the Red Bulls too, going into halftime of this game, not performing as well and getting the ball in the back of the net as well as you can, but then to have to face Charlotte Independents next week. Whew, that's a tough schedule. Everybody getting in on the act here at intermission. The kids on the field having a great time on a perfect Sunday. Bethlehem leads 2-0.
We built the USL into the largest Division II professional soccer league in the world. And now the time has come to announce USL Division III, America's professional 3rd division league, completing the U.S. pro soccer landscape. It's time for your town, your team, your game. D3 will fuel local pride and local passion, creating a new legacy for the beautiful game and inspiring its tribal following across the country. This is professional soccer, built on a disciplined financial model and operational excellence, featuring exciting venues to thrill fans, in hungry new markets yearning for the game. USL Division III, professional, passionate, proven. Pro soccer starts here, coming in 2019. For more information, visit USLD3.com.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. Since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
The 2017 USL season already has been one for the record books, with major new names including Phoenix Rising FC's Didier Drogba and Omar Bravo, and the Tampa Bay Rowdies' Marcel Schaefer adding to the excitement as the league continues to raise the level on and off the field.
United Soccer League, Oklahoma City Energy taking on the Sacramento Republic FC. You make the top play, we will find you. Check out Miguel Gonzalez.
Pittsburgh Riverhounds versus Toronto FC. Victor Sudo drills the rocket upper right corner. This is the only goal in the game. Riverhounds win at 1-0.
San Antonio FC and the Tulsa Roughnecks. 4th-minute scoreless game. Chris Turpak in the box falls down. Doesn't prevent him from scoring.
This is from USL. FC Cincinnati made some news earlier in the week as they made it to the next round of the U.S. Open Cup. And how about this goal by Andrew Weidman? He does all the heavy lifting. Boom, boom, boom. Smack. Game ends 2-2 against Charleston Battery. Rowdy's taking on the Richmond Kickers. Oh. Rowdy's cross, header blocked. DeShorn Brown. Look at DeShorn in great position, finishing with the scissor kick.
The thrilling action on the field has been seen by record levels of support in the stands. New facilities like those in Rio Grande Valley and Phoenix have welcomed fans to new, exciting eras for both clubs, while fervent support for clubs like the Richmond Kickers, Tampa Bay Rowdies, San Antonio FC, Louisville City FC, and Sacramento Republic FC has put the league on course for total attendance of more than 2 million this season, a historic high. Sacramento has been at the forefront of the rising competition too, with Republic FC's victory against Real Salt Lake sending the side into the round of 16 in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup for the first time. Ottawa Fury FC's arrival in the USL has been marked by a remarkable victory against Toronto FC in front of a passionate crowd at TD Place in the Canadian Championship, while the second highest crowd in Open Cup history, 32,287 fans, saw FC Cincinnati earn a thrilling penalty shootout victory against the Chicago Fire to advance to the quarterfinals. As the season reaches its halfway point, the USL has never been stronger.
2017's been an awesome year so far in the USL, and it's just going to get better and better. Bethlehem leads New York Red Bulls 2 by a count of 2-0. And a reminder, watch this Friday on ESPNU. San Antonio FC battles the OKC Energy FC. That's at 9 p.m. Friday evening, July 14th on ESPNU. The great Mike Watts will be on the call. 2-0 your score. Bethlehem, the edge over New York. We've got more from Pennsylvania coming up in just a moment.
What's sweeter than playing Mother's Day with top prizes of $50,000? How about winning on the spot? Play Mother's Day, the new scratch-off from the Pennsylvania Lottery, and you could win on the spot. Keep on scratching.
You've lived with it for too long. That recurring joint or muscle pain that makes everyday tasks a strain and repetitive movement almost impossible. Why put it off? The sooner you seek treatment, the more options you'll have. The faster you'll be back in full stride. The latest non-surgical solutions. The region's only nationally ranked program. That's Orthopedics in Action at Lehigh Valley Health Network.
What's easy to find, lots of fun, and has something for everyone? The Phillipsburg Mall, right off of Route 22 in Phillipsburg, New Jersey. Finding new clothes for the whole family made easy. All of your favorite trends are in and here. Get all of the latest styles, accessories, and more. Stop in and enjoy the experience. The retro novelty is here, open for all to enjoy. Get a fresh new look at one of our many salons, then take your pick at our selection of delicious eateries. Phillipsburg Mall, just off of Route 22 in Phillipsburg, New Jersey. Come today.
Lehigh Valley Insulation keeps you cooler in the summer, warmer in the winter. And with 19 years worth of satisfied customers in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, we've probably insulated one of your neighbor's homes. Our team of older home specialists delivers swift and efficient white glove service, insulating attics, exterior walls, and virtually any under-insulated areas, saving wear and tear on your heating and cooling systems while adding value to your home and providing year-round comfort that pays for itself. Take comfort in Lehigh Valley Insulation. Comfort that pays.
What's sweeter than playing Mother's Day with top prizes of $50,000? How about winning on the spot? Play Mother's Day, the new scratch-off from the Pennsylvania Lottery, and you could win on the spot. Keep on scratching.
Bethlehem and New York, so happy to have you with us on a Sunday afternoon on a perfect day in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Well, the upcoming second half will begin in just a few moments. Here's the highlights from the first half. as New York had some chances. Betancourt was the biggest threat for Red Bulls too.
Betancourt loves to find those little pockets in behind, and here just a missed clearance by Tribbett. The ball falls kindly to Betancourt, and he does his best job of trying to get a nice volley onto the frame, but McGuire with a huge save.
But this is where the problems lied, as Nenko just got free early and often for Bethlehem.
Nenko did a really good job of pressing the back line, getting in behind as quickly as he could on transition. But what was key in this is Najem comes in and helps him and gives Nenko just an outlet to play the ball so then he can get back in behind. And that's not an easy finish. He does a really good job of just being patient and slipping it under the goalkeeper's arm.
Then a few minutes later, Bethlehem goes back to work. Santee Moore breaks it down, one-on-one, the assist. And it was Herbers bearing it.
I loved this little hesitation right there from Moar. He gets to the end line after that and just puts a perfect ball across the box. Herbers loves those because that is so easy for him, and he gets to be the goal scorer.
New York had more opportunities. Etienne, watch this pass right there. Finds Betancourt, but again, he's denied by McGuire.
McGuire with a huge save here. You're right, that ball by Etienne was beautiful. You can see the reaction by Betancourt. He knows he had an opportunity to level the game late in the half, and that's going to be a driving force for him, I think, going into the second half.
Upcoming schedule for New York. Notice the game's not as much rest time as they've had up to this point in the season. Only 3 days between Harrisburg and Charlotte.
Yeah, this is a tough little stretch for New York Red Bulls too. They will stay in Pennsylvania, just go straight to Harrisburg for a game against the City Islanders in a couple days, and then they have to play Charlotte Independence. And we mentioned this a little bit earlier, the Independence on a little bit of a run right now, so trying to get through these next 3 games will be key for the Red Bulls and trying to find a little bit of momentum in it.
Bethlehem will continue their rivalry with Pittsburgh on July 15th. And then you got Richmond, Charlotte, the Independents. Tell you what, if Bethlehem keeps playing this brand of soccer and then they got the clash with Charlotte, that's going to be really, really hot and heavy.
Well, I think the Steel are doing a really good job of executing the game plan. So if they keep trusting their coach and Brendan Burke and what he's telling them, what's going to help them break down a team, they're going to get a lot of points out of these next 5 games.
Eastern Conference standings, Louisville and Tampa Bay at the top of the heap, but Charlotte is moving up, and then you got Bethlehem right behind them. New York trying to make some noise with a win today.
Bethlehem a game behind New York too, so this is a game that they clearly want to win and keep that advantage.
Real and San Antonio with Swope Park and Reno in the top 4. Sacramento also in there. Phoenix Rising I had last night, and Didier Drogba scores a goal in the 93rd minute off a free kick to get the draw. Well, he is so fun to watch for the Rising.
And you wouldn't think Phoenix Rising would be the last place of the USL in the Western Conference, but maybe they'll do just what their name says and rise to the occasion here.
There's the USL Power Rankings. Real right now with 48 points. The Battery of Charleston just behind San Antonio, Louisville, and Swope Park in the top 5. Points are not the actual ranking points. It's just a special system that they have in the USL. As you see the gorgeous scenery, there are a lot of great sites around the country in the USL, but as far as being picturesque, just sheer beauty, tell you what, this stadium, Goodman Stadium in Lehigh, as good as it gets.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. It looks like these are the kind of days as a player you want to play in a game because it's just perfect. It's calm. There's not too much wind. There's not the elements that they had last week with the rain. And that was a challenge for both teams that played against or for the Steel and the Richmond Kickers last week. But this is a nice day, and it's proven to be a good game. The quality of the pitch allows these teams to play the way they want to.
Underway here in the second half. Bethlehem came out red hot in the first half. Let's see if they can maintain that type of intensity here in the second frame as Ethan Cutler will throw it in for New York. Two of New York's top players, Basuljevic and Brandon Allen, relatively quiet in the first 45. Krasneko lost it that time, sent out by Loro. The midway point of the USL season as Matthew Real called that time. We'll go the other way towards the Red Bulls 2.
It'll be interesting to see how Red Bulls 2 come out of halftime because they were starting to gain a little bit of hold on the game. They definitely were outpossessing the Steel towards the latter parts of the first half. So can they use the halftime as kind of a catalyst for that to continue the way that they were playing in the last part of the half?
Another call that time on Nanko. Nanko was able to get ahead so many times, Jordan, without being called offsides in the first half.
And that's a good line by the back line and allowing Nanko to run offside. I think it's key. You either have to be all together or you have to drop and keep him in front of you because they haven't proven to be that dangerous when they've been in front of you.
Lewis had several chances in the first half. Sends it back this time as Basuljevic touches for New York. This is Tim Schmoll, long, lengthy player. See how imposing he can be. Najem now tries to cross one in, and he is ahead of the pack a little too far.
Talk about a great line. Schmoll does a good job of dribbling at the back line, but they stay together. Just let Najem run offside. It gets called a little. When you're approaching your 18, you have to be that much sharper in the way that your back line functions, and the Steel do a good job there.
Saw these two guys go at it in the first half, Nanko and Schmoll several times. Hassan Adam along the far side. And now Bethlehem will work from midfield. Basuljevic on the takeaway. And the Steel now will reset. Jake McGuire, what a first half he had in the net. And once again, a couple players collide. That time Anthony Fontana a little too aggressive. And again, it's Etienne who is in the middle of the scuffle. He's the guy who hit the deck.
And it'll be interesting to see this again if we can, because it looked like Etienne did a good job of drawing that foul. It didn't look like much contact there. And I think that's what, if you're Red Bulls too, you got to do anything you can right now to grasp onto something good. And right there, that's a good foul by Etienne.
Bezecourt with the service. The ball gets loose. And let's see, collision with the goalie as Nadam was all over it, ran right into McGuire, and I don't think here's the look at the play one more time, a clear collision in midair.
And that's, oh gosh, that's a hard call for me because if that's any other player, not the goalkeeper, that's not a foul, right? They both went up for the ball, and McGuire just lets go of it. That's a tough call to go against Nadam. He does a really good job of just challenging for the ball.
So officially no goal. Very, very close call, but if anything, that certainly rattles the cage of McGuire. And, sometimes you need to do some things to just shake up the rhythm of a red-hot goalie, and maybe that's it, Jordan.
Yeah, and I think it's exactly what we were talking about. How do the Red Bulls 2 come out of halftime and create something for themselves that makes them believe that they can get a goal in the back of the net? And right there they did. They just scored, and that's exactly what they need to build that confidence once again.
So a little bit different tempo here in the opening minutes of the second frame by Red Bulls 2. Herbers now will set it down for Bethlehem. Aaron Jones. It's been a little quiet here this afternoon. Herbers with a clear lane for Bethlehem. And now the steal. Passing has been so good in this area. Herbers shaking free, goes far post, and just a little bit wide. Just did not have quite the angle, but a great idea.
Was a really good run by Herbers too. He started it off with a dribble centrally, just trying to get some more players into the attack, and here he just pushes it past Schmoll and couldn't get enough power on it to go on goal. Couldn't be soft enough and bend it enough back to bring some more players in, but I like that from Herbers, but the one thing that was missing there is could they have somebody come a little bit wider? It was so narrow the way that the Steel were attacking there. It's going to make them hard to beat this Red Bulls back line.
Good pass from Chambers. Tries to get it ahead and tapped away at the very last moment. Santee Moore nearly running free for the Steel. But Bethlehem players are so crafty around the 18. I love the way these guys work.
What I'm liking most about the way the Steel are playing is they're mixing up the way that they're playing. They were very direct early on. Then they built up some plays, had a really good string of possession where they maybe connected 14, 15 passes, didn't amount to anything, but that's the way they're attacking back and forth between this. What they just did to earn the corner kick is a direct kick, a direct ball behind the back line, and then something where they build up.
Here's the service on the header, and it's just a little bit high. Great idea, though. The crowd appreciates the effort.
Such a good ball into the back line. That's the most dangerous ball, is the second ball off of a corner kick. Players are moving up defensively, and it's a good little flick on by the Steel player in the middle of the box.
Another corner kick. Tim Schmo will track it down for New York. Chambers sends it back. McGuire handles it for the Steel. We asked Coach Burke earlier this week what the biggest key was in this contest. He said, get off one side of the field and out the other. What do you think he really meant by that, Jordan?
I think we saw it in the first half is defensively. Can you win the ball back defensively on the right side and then spring somebody in on the left? And the Steel did a really good job.
And the ball kept alive. No whistle. New York does not get the call. Now it's David Najem. New York has been much more methodical here this afternoon. Bethlehem has been full of splash plays and thrilling moments. New York has really had to chip away and be real opportunistic because the opportunities have just not come very often.
And I think it shows who the Red Bulls too are as a squad, that they want to stick to the style of play that they are good at, but it's breaking down in moments that it can't break down. Little easy passes all of a sudden turn into a counterattack because they're not played to the proper foot or they're not played with the proper pace, and that's where you have to be better if you're the New York Red Bulls too. It's just the little things to help connect. If you are going to be a possession-oriented team, you got to do a good job of connecting, but in key places, especially in the attacking third.
Look at the possession differential. So clearly in the second half, New York has done their job possessing. Now they just got to find a way to finish. Bethlehem not taking any foot off the gas pedal just yet. Nenko, though, going to get called here. That was very close.
And it was a foul called, but there was a clear advantage as Nenko got in behind, and then we could see the ball go straight off the post on the far side. I guess it didn't go in, so it turned out to be not an advantage for the Steel.
Take one more look. Adam Najem in the spotlight. Kind of goes down after Hassan Nadam stuck his foot in.
And it was clearly a foul, took out his leg, missed the ball. Nadam knew it. He right away put his arms up, looked guilty. But Nanko, reading the ball through by Najem before he got fouled, got him behind.
Adam Najem playing his former team, Red Bulls 2. Chambers with the blast right at Loro. He was up to the task.
Oh my gosh, that ball had so much pace on it. The deflection off of the hands of Loro. He just had to get something on it because he couldn't catch that clearly. They're just both hands, punch it away, make sure it doesn't go behind you. But wow, Chambers really getting a hold of that one.
That ball was screaming off his foot. Trevette hands to Aaron Jones. Douglas Martinez in the game, number 91 for New York. As Bethlehem will play it back, McGuire gives it a ride. It's fun to watch players like Aaron Jones, number 19 for Bethlehem, make that transition so seamlessly from the college game to the program. Jordan, you made that transition on the women's side, of course, but what's the toughest part of switching your game and taking it to the next level?
It's hard, the physicality of the league, the pace of the league, but also finding consistency.
And this ball gets away as McGuire comes over once again for Bethlehem.
So that consistency is something that is hard to get in game and game out. And one of the things that Brendan Burke talked about, Matt Real, he has been probably the biggest surprise for them and how well he's been playing and how much he's taken advantage of his opportunities to play. But now he said the next thing we have to work on is the consistency, game in, game out, just being that same kind of player. But for a young kid, you're doing pretty good already.
And getting a little testy down on the field right now. See right in the middle of it, Austin Trusty, defender for Bethlehem. Yeah, Matt Real, what a story he is. 17 years old. One of the biggest surprises. And you have guys that are playing really well that you didn't really expect a lot from at the start of the year. Really, really is a good problem to have when they start really challenging for playing time.
That's the best thing about adapting to a new league is you can kind of reinvent yourself or be who people don't think you're going to be. That's why we love sports, right? We love the players that we don't expect or maybe players that we do expect who fulfill what they're supposed to do.
Now Najem with the shot right at McGuire. Not a lot of velocity on that one. You mentioned redefining your roles. Saw that last night with Phoenix Rising FC and Sean Wright Phillips and how he has become a player that has kind of redefined himself now coming off the bench for Phoenix.
Yeah, it's got to be hard when you have players like Drogba and Sean Wright Phillips and who have succeeded at such an elite level, and now you're playing in a good league here in the U.S., but it's different. You're older. You have to be a different kind of player, and how do you adapt to that? And I think it says a lot about the professionals that they are, that they can adapt.
Etienne trying to get inside the 18, couldn't do it. And now here comes Herbers. It's all about being unselfish and trying to extend your career. It's the great thing about this league, though. We see that happen so many times. And if you're a guy like Drogba, it helps too when you are a part owner of the club.
Yeah, absolutely. But it also speaks to how much he believes in this league, and he wants to be a part of it, that he's invested and wants to play too. So he's investing not only his money, but himself, his effort, his time, his work ethic, trying to teach all these players what it takes to be the best of the best.
There you get a look at Coach Brendan Burke. First head coach in franchise history here in Bethlehem. He's done a great job managing the flow of players through this great organization.
Substitution for Bethlehem Steel. Now leaving the match, number 14.
Well, the USL is one of the most prominent second division pro leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and info by going to uslsoccer.com, and also follow the USL on Twitter at USL. Moy Brown comes into the game for Bethlehem. Moy Brown, almost as tall as Tim Schmoll. Not quite, but very good sized player. Herbers exits for the steal.
So looking at that matchup, it looks like Brown will play a little bit more centrally like a 9 and let Nanko run outside a little bit more and see if he can get to the end line and create some crosses.
Here's Brown immediately. Tested wide for Bethlehem. Aaron Jones to throw it in. Brown shakes free for a moment. Help comes over just in time, Metzger. Now we have a goal kick for the Red Bulls too.
That always feels good as a player to get onto the field and then get in the action right away. When you're waiting and waiting and waiting for your first touch or your first look at trying to go one-on-one with a player, it's hard to create anything then. You're just searching and searching, and right away Brown comes in, he gets the ball, he runs at a player, tries to get to the end line. Good to see that from a player just coming off the bench.
'64th minute, and 2-0 Bethlehem on top of New York. Drew Felios and Jordan Angeli here on just a perfect Sunday at Goodman Stadium on the campus of Lehigh University. 2 first-half goals, one by Chris Nanko, the other by Fabian Herbers. The difference thus far. Here comes New York trying to notch some sort of offensive momentum in the blast just outside the 18, little bit high.
You could see the little hesitation by the Steel defenders as Bezecourt gets on the ball, and he's so dangerous there. He has 5 goals in the season, but he has 7 assists. So is he gonna pass? Is he gonna shoot there? He decides to go with a shot, but as he shoots, he sits down a little bit.
And Bezecourt now will exit for New York. He was such a factor in the first half. Florian Vallot, number 22, will come in to replace him. So Bezecourt, perhaps the most skilled scorer that we've seen today. Looks like he is done. Gotta wonder if Brandon Allen at some point is going to be heard from.
And I think 64 minutes into this match, you have 2 more games within the next, have 3 games in 6 days total. So a game on Wednesday, a game on Friday or Saturday, and that's a lot of minutes for a player like Bezecourt. This game, is there still a chance for the Red Bulls too? Absolutely, but can you also rest a player and allow somebody else to maybe have a different look than what this Bethlehem Steel team has studied for? So you put in a player like Vallot who hasn't played against this team a lot as much as Bezecourt has, and maybe he can be that X factor that's just something different.
See if New York can find some sort of spark here. Douglas Martinez, number 91, trying to chase this one down. Did that ball go out of bounds? I believe it did, and it looks like we're going to have a corner coming up for Red Bulls too. So Martinez applying some pressure for the Red Bulls too. And now let's see if they can get him in a scoring position. Vasiljevic will be the in-swinger here. New York crashing on that far side as Lewis came flying in. And look at the contact just outside the 18. This is going to be a yellow card for sure as Nanko went face to face with Daniel Metzger.
He just came in too fast and furious there. Couldn't slow himself down to not hit Metzger the way that he did. And now both goal scorers for the Bethlehem Steel have a goal and an assist. Both players kind of see it coming. Hop up. Lucky for Nanko that was outside the box, because that changes the game dramatically. But remember, earlier in this game, the Red Bulls, too, had an opportunity called back. They scored a goal off of a free kick in the attacking third. The goal got called back. They have a lot of height. They have a lot of players willing to go up and get this ball. This could be a good chance for them.
So yellow issued to Nanko, 66th minute. And now Vasiljevic on the free kick. See where New York goes with it. Near the goal, they went high. Martinez got in the air, but the ball about 1 foot past his head. Now Najem sends it back. New York, very tactical here. Najem, one more time. They'll work wide with Etienne. Etienne. And this one just gets away. New York ran out of options.
Yeah, it was a little stagnant. There's a lot of players up there, also a lot of defenders for the Steel, but the Red Bulls 2 players are just standing, waiting for somebody to cross the ball back in. There, you have to be dynamic. You have to break a back line, pull some players out of position, and allow your teammate to have a little bit more space. It's unselfish running that needs to happen there on the back line for the Red Bulls 2.
Now Red Bulls 2 get it to Etienne. Tried to sneak behind, sort of the same way that Chris Nanko was able to do in the first half. Well, fans, stay up to date on the latest USL news and info around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts, Mondays at 7 o'clock, SiriusXM Channel 85. Also, SiriusXM will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. Bethlehem in control from the start of this contest. New York trying to figure out a way to penetrate that Steel defense. This is Vasiljevic. Vasiljevic, the only player for New York that has not come off the field this season. How tough is that to go an entire season without ever leaving the field?
It's extremely tough. You're playing so many games in the season. We're at the half point now, but the amount of minutes that you're logging is difficult, but it's also so key in the way that your team plays. If you can have a few players who are constantly there, you create a little bit of consistency, some real leaders on the field, and I think that's what's maybe been the hardest thing is Vasiljevic hasn't been that involved in the game, especially going forward, getting the ball in that defensive mid position and then springing players in, using his distribution. He's just been a little absent in that.
Yeah, I think that's been huge. He's not really fully been able to get into this here this afternoon. Small tracks it down for New York. Morrow will give it a ride once again. This time goes into the stands, and Bethlehem will have a throw in. Joseph Samuel sent to enter for Bethlehem, and Chris Nanko is going to head to the bench. So the guy who scored the first goal of the match for the Steel, looks like his day will be done. Nanko gets a nice round of applause.
As he should. He did a lot of work, not only scoring the goal, but just 2 minutes ago, the pressure he's putting on the back line of the Red Bulls too. He was working so hard defensively, and if you can start that pressure high up the field with a player like Nanko, it sets a tone for how you're going to defend, and he did a really good job of that all night long.
So more fresh legs in for the Steel. 20+ minutes away from notching their 8th victory of the season. Ethan Cutler talked about his work in the Patriot League last fall, playing for Colgate. Oh, looks like took a shot to the face. Tim Schmoll goes down. And that is certainly the one that he is going to feel. And looks like we have a little skirmish now on the far side.
That was a tough challenge between Schmoll and Brown. Brown's foot coming up, Schmoll bending down pretty far to head the ball. It looked as if they both kind of came halfway. The foot came halfway up, the head came halfway down. Brown in a tough challenge.
A very scary play for Schmoll. Meanwhile, Amoy Brown issued that yellow card.
And that's a dangerous play by Brown, but it's also a dangerous play by Schmoll. He came down pretty far to head the ball, the foot coming up. It's not a good look on either side.
Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com.
To get the feel that the last 10-15 minutes of this match has not been pretty, Jordan, at all.
Yeah, and with the remaining 15, 17 minutes, I feel like the Red Bulls are kind of knocking. They're figuring out more ways to keep the ball in more dangerous places. It almost feels like it's almost time before, a few minutes before they find the way to get it, at least in a good crossing position to try to get one on frame, but I don't know. It's feeling like there's more goals in this game.
New York playing a little bit faster now. There's the cross and the shot, and this one goes off the foot a little bit too high of David Najem as he was trying to just square it up.
It almost came on cue there. You know, I think that's what the Red Bulls too are good at. They get to the end line, they get the ball out wide, and they cross it, especially when they have the height of Martinez. They had Brandon Allen was in there at the beginning of the game. That's where those players succeed. You have to play to the strengths of your forwards, and I think they haven't found that in that cross. You see when the ball comes across, there's players in there who are willing to do the work.
Keep in mind these two teams played on June 16th, and it was a 2-0 win for Bethlehem. Here we are with that exact same count. So New York, in 2 contests up to this point, has not been able to score against the Steel. You know that has got to be frustrating.
Absolutely. Especially with as much rivalry there is between these two organizations.
Samuel able to keep it alive. Joseph Samuel, and now a player's down, and now it gets really physical. Flying in was James Chambers. Schmoll comes in quickly as well. And Basuljevic now in the middle of the skirmish. On the ground, David Najem has not gotten up.
We just mentioned the rivalry, and right there, these players know each other. They have played against each other many times. And here the slide by Najem is a really good slide in there. You can just see it didn't look purposeful, but Samuel, when he was sliding through, hit Najem on the face, square in the nose. No thank you. Don't miss that.
Samuel gives Najem a pat on the back after that one, but Najem clearly shaken up.
A yellow card has been assessed to New York Red Bulls number 17, Arun Bethlehem. Yellow card assessed in the 76th minute.
So Vasiljevic issued the yellow card for New York. Not a good sequence for Red Bulls too. They get issued a yellow card, and one of their top players, Najem, still trying to shake the cobwebs. Toss the water bottle back and we play on.
All right, at this time, fans, we would like to announce the winners of the Bethlehem Steel armband.
Well, soccer fans, Nike is the official sponsor of the USL. For more information, go to NikeSoccer.com. Nike Soccer, the official sponsor of the USL. Geisher joining us late. 2 first-half goals, one by Chris Nanko, the other by Fabian Herbers. The difference in this contest, both Nanko and Herbers no longer in this match. They are enjoying it from the sidelines.
The winner of the Ken Cribbett armband is Scott J.
Now Schmoll, he gets taken down, and a quick whistle.
The winner of the
Amoy Brown was right next to him.
is also Mark Cole.
There's little things like that after the play. Amoy Brown kicks the ball away. He's on a yellow card already. And this is a Bethlehem Steel team who lost a player to a red card last week and to 2 yellow cards. So don't put that past the referees to call you for something that's small like that, just wasting time. And you got to be careful, especially when you're already on a yellow.
Certainly. It seems like most of the games that we've seen this entire weekend have been extra testy. That midway point, maybe guys' emotions starting to flare up just a little bit.
Most teams now have played each other, so they know what to expect. Maybe some inter-position rivalries happening.
Najem crosses to the other side of the field, and again, final third just not working for Red Bulls too.
It's the same thing with the shot we talked about for Bezecourt as well. He sits down, and here's a look at the first half, the goals. Early on, Bethlehem Steel trying to get in behind the back line of the Red Bulls too as quickly as possible, and they did that with Nanko. What was key in that is Najem helped him out. They created a 2v2, allowed Nanko to find an extra little pocket of space and put it easily underneath the arm of the oncoming Loro and score what is now the game-winning goal.
Saul Nanko, got to be really happy right now with his body of work. And for Bethlehem, if they can get this 2-0 result, the fact that they are without Kane and without Burke and Roberts as well, to get a big contribution from Nanko and Herbers and get out of here with a win like that would be huge, and a clean sheet.
Certainly, that would be really instrumental in the way that this team functions, because now you have other players who are contributing just as much as Kone, who you know is going to put the ball in the back of the net, and it gives you a different sense of confidence. They're beating a team that's right underneath them, so it's not like this is a team who everybody counts out. This Red Bulls 2 team is a team that is very good, was highly regarded by Brendan Burke in our conversation. He says they're doing the right things there. We are chasing them. So I think for Burke and for his squad, it's a true testament of how much work they're putting in, not only for each game against the Red Bulls, but for the way that they're creating their whole organization and developing players, not only technically, but tactically. I think tactically they've been phenomenal tonight.
And there are times when injury creates opportunity. David Abador comes in for New York. Hassan Nadam will head out in the next dead ball. So Abador will check in the next whistle for Red Bulls 2. Now Bethlehem trying to add one more before the Afternoon is through. Schmoll has been involved in some really physical sequences here today. Now here comes that substitution. David Abador.
Exiting the game, number 47, Hassan and now entering the game for New York Red Bulls, number 50, David Abador. Substitution in the 81st.
You bring Abador in. It looks to be more in a central position, trying to create some more numbers centrally, some more numbers attacking-wise, so they can try to sneak back some goals here in the last 8-9 minutes.
Jake McGuire picks it up for Bethlehem. This guy was clutch in the first half. Has not been tested much in the second half of play, but those key saves that he had against Bezecourt with Vincent attacking.
I just can't believe that second save still just a reaction. Bezecourt hit a rocket and McGuire did a really good job to keep it out of the back of his net.
Now the steal. Ball gets lost and the shuffle there. Red Bulls 2 come away with it. Bethlehem with 27 points this season. New York with 25. So a critical 3 points at stake here today. Now Lewis again. His opportunities have dwindled here in the second half. Vasiljevic sends it out. Now some time and space to work with for Najem. The cross is in, the shot is on, and again, it misses high like so many have today.
It was a good build-up by the Red Bulls, too. I liked the way that they worked the ball down the right side, didn't see any options in the box, so they just kept it, brought it back around, but then after it was on the wing, it was so narrow. Here you can see all players for the Red Bulls too, in between the width of almost the goal posts. It's so narrow, it's hard to create any space in the back line of that Bethlehem Steel team when you've got just as many players in that small area as they do.
Derek Etienne with the shot that time. And now you have to look up at the clock and wonder, if you're New York, how many more opportunities are you going to have in this game?
You just have to focus on that next build-up. Make sure that when the ball comes to you, you're doing everything in your power to keep it and help your team progress down the field.
Now Bethlehem will counter. Samuel. Samuel collecting. Flicks it back to Jones. Jones tried the cross, but it winds up with New York. Vasiljevic comes away with it. And now pushed down. We'll get a whistle as Bethlehem will keep it. That's Daniel Metzger with the hands in the back. Anthony Fontana has been busy this afternoon, even though he's kind of still looking for that first goal. I think this game's going to make him a better player.
It absolutely will. He's been challenged. He's gotten in some good tackles. He's been in some good spots defensively, breaking up plays. That's all you can do, as a youth player, to be playing in these, a younger player playing in these types of situations. You are going to grow immensely.
Well, fans, stay up to date on the latest USL news and info from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts, Mondays at 7 o'clock on SiriusXM Channel 85. And don't forget, SiriusXM will air the USL Game of the Week. Check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. Well, the drums have not stopped this afternoon in Bethlehem. And the Steel have put together a pretty good 85 minutes of soccer. Can they finish it off here? Nice lead this time to Samuel. And a defender marked him closely. And now Florian Vallot will come away with it.
It's good work by Bethlehem. When you're winning, the best way to kill the clock is to keep the ball, and they did a good job there of just taking some precious seconds off the clock, now dropping in behind, trying to not allow Red Bulls to get behind their back line.
Now New York with the attack. Red Bulls, too, have been looking for this for a long time. Again, McGuire tested. He came out, got a foot on it, and he bails his team out once again.
Etienne with a good run in behind. It looked like he really flirted with that offside line. Couldn't tell if he was on or off, but that run through, as all the players are coming up, it does look like Jones held him onside. But how about the play from McGuire? You have to be big there. You don't know, is he offside or not? I have to make the big play, and he did just that. He continues to be impressive.
Josh Hurd in the game for Bethlehem. So the former Washington star starring in the midfield, hoping to move up, get some playing time here in the 87th minute. Contact. Starting to call a little bit tight here down the stretch. Douglas Martinez, right now he's telling the official, I have watched one of the most physical games of the season. I come in here, I'm trying to get a play, make a play, and you're going to call me with that? Are you kidding me?
I'm sure those are the exact kind words he said.
How physical were you, Jordan, playing this great game?
I told you about, it's typical that you score a goal and you get a yellow card, and that was one of my things that I did quite often. That's pretty physical. You have to be to keep your spot and to help your team out. It's a physical game.
Not only is it physical, though, you got to really know when to say when, don't you?
Yeah, that's the tricky part.
There were times last night I saw in that Orange County Phoenix match, late, Drogba testing the officials, got so close to drawing a red card. I think because his name is Drogba, perhaps they did not send him off. And of course, has the opportunity on the free kick and scores the equalizer in the final minute.
That's hard for me because if, you know, you're going to disagree with the referee when you're playing a game. That's just the way it goes. They're a human too. They make bad calls sometimes, but you can't disrespect them. And when you cross that line, I think you're disrespecting the game then. And I don't care who you are. That is not okay.
Yep. It's outside the center circle, right at the midfield line. The gem goes down. I think that is certainly key. Officials do not want to be shown up, do they?
No, I mean, just as you wouldn't disrespect your own teammate, they're out there trying to do the best they can too. And your teammates make mistakes, you make mistakes, the ref makes mistakes. We will yell at them, but you shouldn't degrade them in any way or make them feel like they're any less of a human. And that disrespect is challenging because there are heated moments within the game, but you have to draw the line there.
Matthew Real to toss it in for Bethlehem. Gonna have 3 minutes of stoppage time coming up. See if New York still has a good run left in him. Tim Schmoll so active today along that back line. Etienne, now everybody touching for Red Bulls too. A little bit of rhythm. Martinez trying to post up, far side. And we're gonna have a corner kick. So one of the Bethlehem players kicks the ball out of bounds. And it's gonna be Basuljevic. An eye on Tim Schmoll. Trying to crash down. They go outside the 18. And this ball gets away. Not the opportunity that New York was looking for. On a play like that, why not send it into more of a danger zone?
I'm with you on that. If Red Bulls 2 didn't have the advantage in size and height and the way that they can head, I would say play it short. But I don't think that was the play. the correct play. The play of the ball, where the ball went in was good, but if you're going to commit to that, commit to it and throw. You have to have players running diagonally across the face of defenders so they can get a little flick on it. Can't allow that player to just head it out so clearly.
And McGuire's just been too good in the net today to expect to get a goal like that. Starting to see several New York players go down late in this match. Try and wrestle the ball away from McGuire. See Douglas Martinez down there. McGuire trying to take as much time off the clock as possible.
Yeah, but the funny thing is the ref is just going to add more seconds on in those situations. But what that does, it allows his team to get back in, settled, ready for this free kick and get a little bit more organized.
David Ajem surveying the field. Services have not been crisp for New York. Another one gets away. Lewis just not working right now for the visitors. Outside of the couple opportunities that we saw from Bezecourt, the attack for New York has not been very pretty here today. Safe to say.
Yeah, they've just struggled, one, connecting with their front runner and getting those numbers in behind. The way they play, they like to get Bezecourt and Etienne and the winger in Lewis in behind the front runner to kind of play off of him, and they haven't got that, nor have they gotten as many crosses as they tend to get. And I think that's one of their strengths. So they have these capable and really good number 9 players who like to be in the box for crosses, and they're not getting the crosses off or getting down into the position where they can even get a cross off.
Loro comes up now for New York. Time ticking down here in Bethlehem. A decisive 2-0 edge for the Steel. Jake McGuire gloves it once more. And that is going to do it. The crowd here in Bethlehem loves the work of their Steel. Workmanlike, blue collar throughout the afternoon, and there's one of the biggest reasons. Krishnenko, his early goal kind of set the tone early here at Lehigh University.
It absolutely did. I think what was most impressive is how the Bethlehem Steel realized that they were going to succeed if they quickly counterattacked the high pressure of New York Red Bulls too. And they executed that to perfection. Early on in the game, they were in behind the back line 4 times before that 5th time when Nanko and Najim did a good job connecting, putting the ball in the back of the net, and then the second goal was pretty. The Steel just out-tactically played the Red Bulls too.
How about Jake McGuire? He's played 12 games now. He's got 5 shutouts. One of the hottest goalies in the league. So Bethlehem gets the 2-0 result. We'll wrap this one up from Goodman Stadium when we return.
The first soccer ball was kicked in Bethlehem in 1904. Now, 112 years later, it's time for the rebirth of Bethlehem Steel FC. Herbert's in the box, and there's the first goal in Steel FC history. For tickets, visit BethlehemSteelFC.com or call 844-STEEL-FC.
This summer, plan a getaway to Hershey Park and enjoy more than 70 rides, including 13 coasters and 14 water attractions. Plus, take advantage of free Hershey Park benefits, like 1-hour early ride access when you stay over at the official resorts of Hershey Park. Plus, if you go to Service Electric's website, sectv.com, and click on the link and like us on Facebook, you'll be entered to win a family 4-pack of tickets to Hershey Park. But you better hurry, since this promotion is only available until July 15th. Hershey Park and Service Electric, teaming up to bring you the best summer ever.
You've lived with it for too long. That recurring joint or muscle pain that makes everyday tasks a strain and repetitive movement almost impossible. Why put it off? The sooner you seek treatment, the more options you'll have. The faster you'll be back in full stride. The latest non-surgical solutions. The region's only nationally ranked program. That's Orthopedics in Action at Lehigh Valley Health Network.
Well, some excited Bethlehem fans. They've gotten their victory. Now they're waiting around for some autographs. 2-0, the final score here in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Jake McGuire, a fabulous clean sheet for the home team, and also Chris Nanko, outstanding as well. Let's take a look at the highlights of this contest, and the first half was really full of them. New York had their fair share as well, as they got a great attack from Bezecourt.
Bezecourt does a good job of just tucking it in behind the midfield in front of the back line. He gets a good shot off, but it wasn't good enough to go in the back of the net. But this was Nanko and the Gem creating a good 1-2 and just placing it in the back of the net. That little pass there allows space for Nanko to then break the back line. He runs over it and then just rolls it underneath the oncoming Lauro.
And a Gem and Nanko, that tandem just dazzling, producing that goal. And then it was Senti Moore doing his thing, setting up this play.
I love this because that hesitation there draws the defender in. It allows him to get past him, create some space, and then just play an easy ball to Herbers, who says, thank you very much. I'll put this in the back of the net, make it 2-0. Gosh, you love those balls coming across you.
So goals from Nanko and Herbers making up for the loss of Kone, Burke, and Roberts. New York had more opportunities. This was another good one. Watch the pass from Etienne to Betancourt right here.
And that Bezecourt run comes from deep. He realizes that there's an opportunity to get in behind, and he nearly puts it in the back of the net.
Herbers trying to shake free again. Didn't quite have the angle that time, but a great idea as he was able to get by Tim Schmoll.
Herbers had a great game, and it wasn't without trying. Red Bulls too, trying to get anything they could. This little run by Etienne. Etienne was all over the place. This is late in the game. He's trying to get at least one back. That run through the back line creates chaos, and McGuire has to make a big save. He does just that and keeps his clean sheet. 5th of the season for McGuire, just performing outstandingly.
Take a look at the final numbers. Possession, 60% going to Red Bulls 2, but just did not have that finisher on the field here today. Look at the yellow cards, very physical matchup. Bethlehem, luckily for them, they don't get a red card. Keep in mind, Burke and Roberts out because of getting red cards in their last contest against Richmond. But altogether, a pretty solid effort from the Bethlehem Steel from top to bottom as they get the 3 points now with 30 on the season. We want you to keep you up to date on the next game for Bethlehem, July 15th, as they take on Pittsburgh. So that Bethlehem-Pittsburgh rivalry renewed. Chris Nanko certainly will be featured once again. Right now, Bethlehem, 7 matches without a defeat. That's pretty special, Jordan.
It's amazing, and that just is what confidence does. It makes you able to win some key games and keep that streak going.
So Bethlehem 2-0 gets the decisive win over New York. For Jordan Angeli and our entire crew, I'm Drew Felios. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a terrific rest of the weekend.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.